All right, welcome in everybody to another edition of Smack Talk here on the Sportskeeda YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter channels. My name is Rick Ucchino, joined by Denise Salcedo as always, as we are going to be for the next hour or so, recapping tonight's Friday Night SmackDown. I thought it was a fantastic 45-minute episode, and things kind of got off the rails from there. We'll have plenty of time to discuss it. I am so excited to be here, so excited to be talking wrestling. Denise, as I'm sure you know, it has been a long week of analyzing maps, looking at numbers. I'm tired of talking about colors. Let's talk about some wrestling, please. What did you think of the show tonight?
You know what? I thought tonight's show was okay. I didn't think it was that great. There were some things that I loved about the show. Maybe not loved, but that I liked and enjoyed about the show. And there were some other things where I was like, oh no, not this. But overall, it was a fine show. But I think a lot of us honestly are mentally tired, mentally exhausted. It's been a crazy last few days. It's been a very heavy wrestling weekend. Plus, on top of everything that you just mentioned that we're going through right now, it's kind of been very, mentally exhausted, where I feel like my brain is in multiple places at once. Like I'm following everything I'm doing for wrestling and work, that I'm following what's going on in the real world, and then I'm trying to keep sane, and it's too much. I'm having a breakdown, Rick.
Yeah, well, you're having a breakdown. My full-time job is as a news anchor, okay? So I've literally been paying attention and like closer than almost anybody has. Denise, I need a drink. Okay, that's what I need to close out the week is a drink. And frankly, you know, that brings me to my surprise tonight, because a good buddy of mine, Taryn Bland, I'll give him a shout out, got me one of these.
Oh, nice.
Boston Broken Skull IPA. And you know, I've been saving this for a very, very fun occasion, or at least the right occasion. And I think the way the show opened up tonight was the perfect time to celebrate, because Sasha Banks finally retained a singles championship. The streak is over. And I am here to celebrate tonight in true Stone Cold fashion. I only have one, so I'm going to smack it off with a Coke here. I'm going to try to commit as much as I can here, but this is for Sasha Banks here.
Oh my God.
Not bad. That's actually pretty good. It's the first time I've had one of these. Not bad.
I like that you actually had a splash when you smacked those two cans together. I was like looking at that microphone and I was like, don't get it sticky. Don't get it sticky.
I got my phone wet and my notes are covered in beer right now, but you know what? Worth it.
You should have moved the notes, Rick. What happened?
I don't know. Totally worth it. And so now I'm feeling, actually, that's really good.
Cheers. I've got water.
That is a really good beer. We don't have any sponsors on the show, but hey, if Stone Cold, if you're watching, we'll chill this stuff every week. Why not? This is some good stuff. But obviously, Denise, I'm happy that Sasha Banks won the matchup tonight. Kind of curious that they opened the show tonight. Part of me thinks that maybe, just maybe, they thought they might have to be competing tonight with some late night breaking news with the election coverage that we have going on here in the United States. So they decided to play it safe and kick off the show. I thought it was a good, hard-hitting match, and obviously they had the right result at the end, in my opinion.
I think the best part of this match is the fact that they're making Sasha Banks look like a legit champion. And that's one of the things that we haven't really been seeing, where, in just all across the board, I feel like we haven't really always had that champion that looks like a champion, is treated like a champion. And even because I almost feel like maybe we would have even seen her lose against Bayley. And this is not just saying like, oh, because she's been on a losing streak, but because we see that happen a lot, And so I was so happy that she went out there, had this great performance, a great, opening match on SmackDown. And it was fun, like you said, hard hitting, because it was. Sasha Banks completely shined in this match and also got the win. You don't always get both of those things. And that makes me happy, because I was like, yes, build her up as a real champion. Have her lose to Bayley, perfectly fine. Like, we want to see the Sasha Banks that, people want to see.
Right, exactly. And, Bayley had a pretty I did like that from Paul there. Guys, keep getting your comments in. We'll try to get to them as much
Rick
as possible.
316.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'll do it all day long. I still got half a beer here. I didn't chug the whole thing. It's a tall boy. All right. You can't fault me on that one. Stone Cold always has the regular size cans. So I did 2 in 1 there. Anywho. But yeah, Sasha looked great. And I think that's how they need to book her moving forward. She is a baby face now. She is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. She needs to get back to being the boss. And that's why I hated it so much, the way she won the Raw Women's Championship from Asuka. It just felt empty. It just felt hollow. And then again, a few weeks later, she defends it again and she loses the championship. If there has ever been a time for anybody to have a long, strong title run, it's Sasha Banks. By the way, I looked this up. We all know on the main roster, she was 0-5, 0-6, I believe, heading into championship matches, one of the two championship defenses. 0-5, because now she's a 6-time women's champion on the main roster. Do you know the last time she successfully defended a singles championship?
When was it?
Last televised was NXT TakeOver Unstoppable over Becky Lynch, May 20th, 2015.
2015?
She had not successfully defended a singles championship in over 5 years.
How is that possible?
Exactly, because we're talking about Sasha Banks here. Like, she's one of the most decorated superstars in the entire company. She did not successfully defend a singles championship for 5 years. And she
that
was
sounds insane.
And that's why I'm drinking a Steve Weiser over here to celebrate, because it is way long overdue. And that's why I was also really happy with what happened at the end of the match, because I think Carmella, who made her triumphant return tonight, is the perfect first feud post Bayley for Sasha Banks. Because ultimately, I think once you start getting into the likes of Bianca Belair, the chances of her losing that championship go up. I don't expect Carmella to end this feud holding the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think it would be too soon to take it off of Sasha Banks, but I think this is a good starting point for Carmella. Put her into something important right away. Make her feel important. I don't think she's going to get the win, but this is good for both Carmella, and I think this is going to be a good first test feud for Sasha Banks as the new top baby face on SmackDown in the women's division.
Yeah, I agree with you, because it's more like a transitional thing. You know, Sasha Banks just got off this hot feud, or is getting off this hot feud with Bayley, and obviously she's not going to go straight into this Bianca Belair situation, which is obviously what everyone is waiting for and is excited to see happen. So I don't mind her going into this thing with Carmella. Now, I am hoping that we do get to see, you know, if they're going to rebrand Carmella, I really hope that they actually do, because right now it kind of feels like just the same. It kind of feels a little, her debut today felt a little generic. I think if anything, I preferred the old Carmella. So I'm hoping that with this new Carmella that we get some surprises. But I do like the idea that she came in, she attacked Sasha, and we're going right into this. Like, there's no pausing. We're continuing this on and kind of getting forward, moving on with something new.
Yeah, and they closed off the Bayley and Banks thing. I think it was pretty definitive tonight. She beat Bayley, as there was a little bit of shenanigans in the middle of the match, but Bayley introduced the foreign objects and everything, and Sasha was able to overcome. By the way, a lot of really close false finishes tonight. There were a couple of times there at the end, I think after the Bayley to belly and definitely after the elbow, I thought there was a good chance that match was over. So they did a really good job of getting me invested and giving me those mini heart attacks tonight. But that feud is now over. To your point, though, about Carmella kind of being a little bit generic. Yeah, we really didn't get any character development from her tonight. We didn't get, she talked last week, and I know somebody else brought this up. I put it up on the screen. She talked last week. We were going to find out this week why she's quote unquote untouchable. We really didn't find that out, other than she sneak attacked her opponent, which is a typical heel move. And she's now being that, stereotypical, heel. But what I did like out of Carmella is, even though it was a sneak attack, it wasn't this sneak attack and run and kind of dart like the old Carmella used to do. She was still standing strong. She was there to send a message and to make a point, and looked like a stronger heel. I might be reading into that. I got to see more of it.
Maybe a more confident heel.
Yeah, more confidence. Yes. When she had her first championship run, which feels like 10 years ago now, there was no confidence there. She talked a good game, but it just never really materialized in the ring. And that's all character. I think Carmella has plenty of in-ring skills. I'm hoping now she gets a chance to showcase that. But we got to see more. We got to slow play it. We get, much like we've been hearing all week, Denise, we got to wait. We got to
have patience.
We got to have patience on this one, and we got to see how it plays out. But I'm excited to see this moving forward. Now the question is, what do you do with Bayley from here?
Look, it's Bayley. I think that they can find something for her. And hey, why not even go in and do something with Bianca Belair to start building Bianca Belair as a contender for, Sasha? That could be an option.
Yeah, I think I said this last week. I honestly can't remember because a million things have happened since last week. But they have
or even something with Billie Kay. They can even do something with her instead of
cool. That would be cool too.
I think their personalities are totally different, and it would be something interesting to see come off of this and actually put Billie in a storyline. And this could be totally different from what Bayley has been doing with Sasha.
Yeah, they've given Billie Kay a couple of nuggets these last couple of weeks, just saying, hey, here's 30 seconds, go get yourself over. And I think she's starting to do it. Like this whole resume headshot thing that she's been doing. It was extremely funny this week. I don't know what she was what she was applying for with the Mr. Profits there.
Neither.
It was funny. It worked. That whole segment was weird. I want all of a sudden I want more segments with Big E, the Street Profits, and Billie Kay. It was funny. Like I said,
my favorite part is when they were like, Billie, we were on Raw with you. Yeah. It was hilarious.
Which is like the closest we got to any kind of long-term like continuity on this entire show. And I'll bring up a couple of examples later tonight, but I don't know. I know they were hiring for a continuity director earlier in the year. I don't know if they ever actually made that hire.
Oh, can you please remind me about continuity when we get to the Rey Mysterio situation? Because I have a lot of things that I have to talk about with that.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that. But real quick before we move on to Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. And guys, yes, keep getting in your comments. Carissa says, I think Bayley needs a break. Possibly. She's been going really, really hard for well over a year now. I mean, they talk about 380 days as the women's champion, but let's not forget, she had a pretty lengthy run before that and just had that 4-day break where, Charlotte was a champion and then she turned heel and went on this really good run. So yeah, maybe she does take a few weeks off and I'd have no problem with that. My hope would be, though, is that they jump immediately into Bianca Belair, because I think Bianca Belair needs a program with Bayley. She needs a major program against a major star to come out on top of and start building up her resume.
Exactly.
And then, you beat Bayley. All right, now all of a sudden we're into, because we still got to get through this Survivor Series stuff. So that's going to take us through November. Then you have December, TLC, to get, Bianca and Bayley and get them going. Maybe they go all the way to the Royal Rumble. It's hard to fathom that we're this close to the Royal Rumble, but we really are. It's coming fast. And that could be a great matchup. You could even start this feud at Survivor Series because you still have 3 open spots on the women's team. I don't know how you don't have Bayley on that team, whether she has to qualify next week. Maybe she beats Natalya. I think that would be a fun little thing where Natalya literally loses every qualifying match and doesn't get on the team. So Bayley finds her way on the team. And then you know what? Her and Bianca kind of butt heads a little bit, because anytime those two have been involved with one another, whether it's been a cross-brand, battle royal, or, anything, Bayley has been incredibly scared of Bianca Belair and has kind of used that to put her over a little bit. So I know these two want to work together. There's been a little bit of long-term storytelling there. I think it's just a natural progression for those two to work with each other down the end of the stretch here for 2020.
And I would love to see it. I think you said it best when you said it would build up Bianca Belair's resume. She's out here. They're putting out all these vignettes basically saying that she's the bestest. She's the bestest. Okay, well, now we're going to have to start seeing her against people that are not Zelina. And I love Zelina, but we've seen that match a million times on Raw. Then we saw it again on SmackDown. So they can definitely start, really building her up as a star by putting her in matches with somebody like Bayley, who's already established as one of the main top stars. I was going to say main women, but no, top stars in the company.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think of the rest of the SmackDown women's division. I know Carmella adds a really, really good piece to it.
Very, very slim. Okay, we're thinking Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Mickie James is out, Natalya, but we've seen her. She sort of, kind of, we already know like what her like spot is on the roster. Zelina Vega.
Up and coming. Yeah.
That's kind of like it. I mean, I mentioned obviously Billie Kay, but that's kind of it.
I feel like there's another big piece out there that we're forgetting. I mean, I think obviously Becky Lynch will come over eventually with Seth Rollins being on SmackDown, but that's not a guarantee, and that's still several months away.
It's very top heavy. Due what? December is Becky due? All right, we don't know how long she's gonna, want to stay at home and be a mom. We don't know that.
There were those rumors out there that said that Vince wants her back by WrestleMania. I'm like, good freaking luck. Do you not know how pregnancy works? That's 3 months. That's 3 or 4. That's not going to happen. That's a pipe dream. Forget about that. It ain't happening.
You're a dad. You should know. You know more than I do on this one. I've never had a baby, so I can't give any information on this. I'm out on this one.
Funny thing is my second is also due in December. It's like, Becky and I aligned our lives together. It's really kind of weird. I swear. I didn't know
you were having a second child. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. So 2 weeks in December, you're going to have to take over the show again. I apologize. But
thank you for the heads up.
But yeah, it really is kind of top heavy. And even, Bianca Belair isn't, well, I think obviously the star power is there. Yeah. You got to start building up some of these ladies, which is why I think Carmella is a good first shot at Bayley. At Sasha now, but you can't just revert right back to Bayley. Of course, you could always have the Royal Rumble winner be from Raw or from wherever, and they decide to challenge Sasha, and that's really kind of where you lead into after that. But they got to start building up some of these other women on the roster, because right now it's really, really top heavy, and I'm glad Carmella's getting this shot. But after that's over, yeah, now you're starting to look at some of these women who they really should have been building up for months and years now, but have kind of been stuck on the lower card, which is part of the problem of putting so much emphasis on the 4 horsewomen and Asuka and Ronda Rousey over the last 2 years. Now now's the time. Bianca's great. She just has to get a chance to show it.
And here's the thing is that their women's division is stacked. There are so many people that they can pull up from NXT and, hey, maybe you don't feel like you have enough people on Raw or SmackDown, pull them up, because there's a lot of women there that are kind of fighting to really get that spot, So I do think that they have a lot of options with the women's division.
Yeah, and real quick, Rob Ross here. I just hope Sasha holds her title, longer than she normally does. Well, guess what, Rob? She already has, baby. She's got 1 successful title defense. Yeah.
That's why Rick's drinking today, not because of the elections, but this is why.
Yeah. I definitely don't have ulterior motives for drinking today. That is for certain.
Everybody was writing like, oh, like you should get drunk tonight, or I'm getting drunk tonight, or you can't do this thing sober. And I'm sitting here like, man, I don't drink. I don't do anything. And I'm tolerating this election this way.
You don't drink at all?
No, I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs.
Denise, straight edge society over here.
I know, right? I'm starting to sound like CM Punk. I've tried it. I didn't like it. So not like smoking or anything or doing drugs. Never tried that. Never will.
Never.
Sorry.
You're in California.
Don't lie. No, you'd be surprised. Not everybody's like that in California. I mean, the majority is, but I don't know if you would say the majority. I don't know.
So what you're saying is the wildest you get is tacos on a Friday night. That's about
the wildest. Yeah, the wildest I get is Taco Bell 5 days a week. One time only.
Paul brings up a good point here. Ripley needs to join the SmackDown team for Survivor Series. I would not. I think Rhea Ripley's ready to come up. I think she's done about as much as she can do at the NXT level. I think she would be an immediate home run slot, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown, to be completely honest with you.
Well, there might be something to that. And I think as soon as she's done, with this whole Raquel thing, because they are doing something really good there. And I like what they're doing with that. So I'm not going to rush that. But do you remember when they were starting the new season premiere of SmackDown, and they had the show on FS1, and they had Triple H and Stephanie talk on the panel before the show, and I forgot what the question was asked, but they essentially asked him something along the lines of, who do you think is going to be the next breakout star, blah blah blah. And Triple H was still to this day was like Rhea Ripley, and I'm like, okay, you're mentioning her name on SmackDown, and then you brought this up right now, and so I can definitely see it going that direction, and there's no reason why. There's nobody out there like Rhea Ripley right now.
Yeah, I think maybe the way you might be able to bring her up even though I still want Bianca Belair to win the Royal Rumble, maybe Rhea Ripley she wins the Royal Rumble. And at that point, maybe Charlotte has found her way to being champion again. And that's how you can kind of do this redemption storyline with Rhea Ripley is, she had a ton of momentum and they decided to rip it away from her by putting the championship on Charlotte, which they said was for a reason. I still don't know what that reason is because they immediately gave it, almost immediately gave it to Io Shirai. And now Rhea's kind of been in limbo these last few weeks. So maybe this is long-term storytelling. Charlotte's going to come back at some point on Raw. They're going to put the championship back on her at some point. So maybe we get Ripley Charlotte 2 next year at WrestleMania and Ripley wins the Raw Women's Championship from her.
And Ripley didn't get her WrestleMania moment either in front of that crowd. I was watching I was watching the documentary on the WWE Network where they were talking about how they had to, switch, WrestleMania locations. And I felt so bad for Rhea Ripley when she was, basically all excited to, be doing this in this big stadium. And then she doesn't get that moment. And that was a hell of a match at WrestleMania, probably the best match that I remember from the show. And so, it's unfortunate that her hype kind of went down, but I think she was maybe one of those people that were affected by this COVID situation.
Yeah, there were a lot of them. Otis definitely was one for sure. We'll get to him coming up here in a little bit. You are watching Smack Talk, the weekly WWE SmackDown review show here on Sportskeeda YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Rick Ucchino. That is Denise Salcedo. We're here for about another 40 minutes or so, which means we have to get through a lot. We spent a lot of time there on the women's division. We do appreciate the 97 people who are still watching, the 153 plus that have engaged with us so far. Keep those engagements coming, guys. Like, comment. We'll try to get to them as much as possible throughout the entirety of the show, but the more engagement we get, the better it does for us. So let's move on to the latest installment of the Jey Uso Roman Reigns saga, and got a pretty some awkward backstage segments tonight between Jey Uso and Kevin Owens, and then you had Kayla Braxton throwing in some shade on Jey Uso, trying to bait him a little bit tonight, which, by the way, I love. I loved them using Kayla in this storyline because I think WWE doesn't do it enough of utilizing their backstage people or even their referees or their backstage figures. They're doing a great job with Adam Pearce as of late, but they can really start utilizing some of these backstage interviewers a little bit more like they did Coach and Cole back in the day. Start using Kayla. And, they were doing something with Charlie and Angel Garza for a little bit there, and then that kind of dropped off. But they can do a lot more with these backstage interviewers to help drive storylines, and they did that with Kayla Braxton tonight. Everybody trying to get under Jey Uso's skin a little bit. Like you said, Denise, last week, testing Jey Uso, testing his loyalty, and then Roman Reigns put him through the ringer again tonight, which ultimately led to our main event between him and Kevin Owens, and Jey Uso got the win again.
Right. And so, you mentioned the thing about them utilizing the backstage reporters more. And you know how we had the Lars Sullivan sit down today? I would have actually preferred had they done this sit down with Jey Uso, not this, standing situation that they did, all of that. I think they should have done like a sit down, because what we saw last week was very dramatic. I mean, we saw Jey Uso break down in tears. We saw him snap. Yep. You see somebody go through something like that, through this, psychological experience. You want to sit down and pick their brain in a serious way. And I think that it would have done more justice for them to sit down, in a dark room, not like a dark room, but, like in a serious, very moody place, and, have the big lounge chairs come out and have, Kayla Braxton or whomever come out and really ask those serious, hard hitting questions. What's going through your mind? Why did you do that? Really get into the mind of Jey Uso and understand why he did what he did. And so now I feel like they're sort of shifting the direction, because it feels to me like Jey Uso was like, okay, I'm on Roman's Reigns. I'm on the same page with Roman Reigns, right? That's what we understood as of last week. And now this week, it kind of feels like we're not really there. I feel like he's either got to be a full-fledged heel, or if not, like along with Roman Reigns, or if not, he's just kind of there being, Roman Reigns' servant. And it's kind of taking away some credibility from Jey Uso. And so I'm not necessarily that big of a fan of all of that.
Well, the thing I like, though, is it's adding layers to this, because it's not a clear-cut situation. What they show tonight is that Jey Uso is clearly conflicted. He doesn't like the situation he's in right now. This is something that he's trying to accept, and now he's got people giving him crap for it. He's got, Kevin Owens, giving him a little bit of shade. And then he's got Kayla laying it on extra thick. And then he's got Paul Heyman giving him crap for doing the interview that he didn't know that he had to get, that he didn't have to get permission for. And then what I love the most is, Roman Reigns comes out, basically talks Jey Uso into going to handling his business with KO. And then Roman looks immediately over at Paul Heyman and is like, well, actually didn't even look at him. Didn't even make eye contact. Just like, you're supposed to know everything. You're supposed to handle this crap so I don't have to. And then Paul Heyman playing, the perfect, sniveling, coward. What's the
manager client
from Harry Potter? That kind of role. Played it to perfection. Roman Reigns is just on a completely different level right now. The acting and the character development that he's given every week. I got a serious, like, how fans have this idea of who Vince McMahon is and how he runs everything backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's what they're doing with Roman Reigns on the screen. Like Roman Reigns has to have his.
I didn't think about it that way.
Roman Reigns has to have his hand in everything. He has to give his approval over everything. He loves to micromanage every little thing. He wants to control everything that's going on with his family and all the trickle down so he can run SmackDown the way he sees fit. And I immediately looked at that and I'm going, I'm getting some serious Vince McMahon backstage tearing up the script an hour before the show. Doesn't matter the work anybody else has put in. It's my say, my way or the highway vibes here that I got from Roman Reigns tonight. They're taking this idea of the fans have of Vince McMahon and they're putting it on screen in Roman Reigns right now.
Hey, if it's working, it's working. And I do like the portion of what they're doing with this in terms of, I love the part where, Roman Reigns was basically upset because Kevin Owens essentially made a little joke, right? And then he had the line of, he's making fun of you, he's making fun of me, or if it affects you, it affects me. Whatever he said, that was like verbatim for that.
Yeah.
I did like all of that aspect. I just do think that they can kick it up a notch. Like there were some things that I thought would have made more of an impact.
Yeah. I think they're kind of trying to slow play this a little bit because they have Survivor Series that's coming up. And that's going to kind of throw a wrench in everything because eventually you have to build toward this match with Randy Orton. Like they didn't even mention the fact that Roman Reigns has a match with Randy Orton coming up in 2 weeks? It's on the 22nd, right?
Yeah, 22nd.
You got 2 more SmackDowns before Survivor Series. We haven't even mentioned the fact that he's got a matchup with Randy Orton. Heck, we didn't even see Sami Zayn on the show tonight to build up to his match with Bobby Lashley. They're doing all these feuds, and then all of a sudden, here's going to come Survivor Series in. I'm waiting for the Survivor Series angles to start interrupting the storylines we have now because now I
don't feel like they're going that direction. I feel it's just like this is you have this equivalent of the same bout. You're in this match together. We're just throwing 3 random people in this match. Whoever wins this is a qualifier for that.
Right, exactly. And it's like, okay, you're doing all these storylines, and here's a major pay-per-view this weekend. Here's just a bunch of random matches.
That's how exactly how it feels.
It's the battle of brand supremacy. Like, eventually they kind of start building up this stuff. I think the only match they've even there's 2 matches they've really kind of built toward so far: the Street Profits and New Day, which was the center for the backstage incident with Big E that we saw earlier tonight, and then Sammy and Bobby Lashley. There have been a couple of backstage promos. Sammy had a video that was out on the internet. He wasn't here tonight. But everything else, it's kind of just been, this is what's going on, but I guess eventually we'll get to it. It makes sense with Sasha and Asuka because we didn't know if Sasha was going to be the champion. Now that we know who the 2 champions are, I'm hoping they do something moving forward because they haven't done anything with Asuka for 2 weeks now. I don't even think she was on Raw this past Monday.
No, that's what I meant by that's why I was happy with what we were seeing with Sasha because we're not seeing the same thing with Asuka. I don't think that her reign has been anything, I hate to say it, but it hasn't been remarkable or special. It's just been there. And that's not necessarily what I would have thought a couple of years ago when you told me like, hey, she's going to be champion for X amount of days, blah, blah, blah. I was expecting more.
Yeah, they just haven't given her that. She
doesn't have really anybody to like get into these like crazy feuds with. She's been thrown into these random 6-woman tag matches, like
not on her own show. The top 2 contenders I think she has on her show right now are the women's tag team champions. I mean, what are we doing here? But that's another show. We're getting off topic here. We they'll talk about Asuka on Legion is Raw every Monday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. So we lead up to the main event tonight. Another good showing for Jey Uso in the ring. Now all of a sudden he's got wins over AJ Styles. He's got a win over Daniel Bryan. He's got a win over Kevin Owens now. Although the distraction finish, we got the shot to the you know what there at the end there, the headbutt.
What are we calling it? What are we calling it here? The emoji?
The what?
His emoji?
I just call it a head nut, like he just instead of the headbutt. Anyway, bad joke. But so he hits the thing, he hits the dangle, and then it's super kick, and then the splash, and it's over. It's still a big win, but what I'm hoping this is leading towards is because Roman Reigns is now sending Jey Uso at Kevin Owens. We talked about this last week, the possibility. Who's going to be next up for the Universal Championship opportunity? Oh, please, after Survivor Series is over, KO and Roman. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
This is going.
Dude, Kevin Owens has just kind of been there. I mean, he's had so many funny moments on the show, on like both when he was on Raw and now on SmackDown, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah. Paul with a good question here. Speaking of the women's tag team champions, are they ever going to go to the other shows to defend their titles? I sure as heck hope so, because now that they've beaten the makeshift team of Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke over on Raw, my goodness, where are we going here? Is the Riot Squad even still a team? There was no mention of Liv Morgan tonight. Ruby qualifies, for the matchup. I think that's a little bit later. We can talk about it now. A fairly okay match. I loved the finish. I absolutely love the finish. Natalya letting go of the sharpshooter again for the second week in a row, and then as soon as she lets go, because Ruby's got that head choke in there, Zelina taps out. Very creative finish. A good win for Ruby. I'll always be happy when Ruby Riot wins some matches, and now she's going to be on a big match at Survivor Series, so good for her. No mention of Liv Morgan, no mention of the Riot Squad tonight, all talking about Ruby Riot. I know that puts, I wasn't the only one who was thinking it like, what's going on here?
Thrown together. Yeah.
Yeah. But this seems like it was just thrown together last minute. Maybe we see Liv Morgan next week. It's something we got to slow play, but
who knows? The division has been very confusing. People have been breaking up, been repaired with somebody else. Like, I mean, that's what we've been seeing as of late.
Yeah, let's just say we're lucky that we're talking about SmackDown right now, because if you gave me 10 minutes, I will scream into this microphone about what they're doing with Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans over on Raw. I don't have time to get into it, and it's not within my jurisdiction, so I'm not going to get into it. But
you're like, that's above my pay grade. I don't talk about that on the show.
I cover SmackDown, dang it. But I would love to see Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax fighting the Riot Squad, or heck, even on NXT, taking on some of the women they have over there. It seems like ever since, they had 4 teams that really carried that division since its infancy, and now they're all gone. They're all broken up. Sasha and Bayley are broken up. Kairi Sane's no longer with the company in a wrestling capacity. She's working for them overseas now. Then you had Nikki and Alexa. Who knows what the heck's going on with them right now? And
Alexa's
the other team
moved on to something else. They did have that reference with Nikki where she was like, "Oh my god," like trying to,
right.
Bliss had that whole
moment, and I liked it. And then you had the Iconics, which you split up for no reason, none whatsoever. So, not to mention the fact you split up Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, only to have them to have the best feud all summer long.
But that one was different, though. The circumstances for that one were different.
I understand that, but here's the thing. You split them up, right? They have this great feud. Mandy Rose gets the biggest singles win of her career, and you follow up by moving her over to Raw to put her in a makeshift tag team with no explanation whatsoever.
You know what? I'm not going to complain about that one because I do like what they're doing with them. And I think that they're actually, if anybody is coming, if any team is coming into fruition, it's definitely Dana and Mandy right now. And I don't think any other team, let me think about that, is looking, no, I'm not going to say they're looking like the best, but they're working just fine. And I like what they're doing with them.
They are working. And I was actually kind of hoping they would win the tag team championships earlier this week, mostly because I would just have been extremely happy for Dana Brooke. But
it's too early.
Yeah, they're building them up. They're doing it nicely. But yeah, I don't know. That whole women's tag team division right now is in limbo, mostly because they for some reasons that made sense, for some reasons that were, you had no other choice. And for some reasons that make no sense whatsoever, they broke up all their tag teams. So but they did that with the men's division too. And now we're slowly kind of building that back up. So it's a nice, transitional period right now. So right now we have 2 women on the SmackDown, on Team SmackDown for Survivor Series in Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair. So 3 spots to fill there. I still think Bayley's going to get one of them.
Yeah, she's got to.
Yeah, Liv Morgan, probably. I think we'll see her next week and qualify. And then I guess maybe Natalya at the end of it. She finally wins. Maybe Billie Kay. Let's just keep our fingers crossed on that one. Because
I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her hard.
She is so insanely entertaining. And I think she just needs more time to shine. Her and Peyton Royce, to be completely honest with you. If you're going to have them split up, I'm hoping that they're both successful on standing on their own. I don't need to see Peyton Royce in some makeshift tag team with Lacey Evans. All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. I will quell that one, bury that deep down inside, and go on from there. We did have 2 other qualifying matches for the men tonight, and let's start with another rock solid in-ring performance from King Corbin tonight.
Calm down, Rick. Oh, calm down. Did you see my tweet about that?
What? I'm sorry?
Did you see my tweet about that match? I was like, bro, this match is feeling longer than the election. I was so bored during this match. I zoned out like 14 times.
It was insanely weird that this got the amount of time that it did.
It took forever. I felt like I was watching the match. I was watching. I'd zone out, come back, come back in. It wasn't for me.
Go get a snack, take a bathroom break, come back.
No, I can't do that. You know why I don't do that? If ever I go and leave the room because, I want to go get a cookie or something, whatever the case may be, I will miss something important. I'll come on a post show. Someone will be like, Denise, what did you think about this? And I'm like, I didn't see that part. Right. So that happened to me one time and I'll never do it again.
I have missed many a backstage segments of taking the old bathroom break, thinking it's safe to walk away from the screen. And then I come back on Twitter and everybody's talking about this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, what'd I miss? Now I have to rewind. Safe. Yeah, it's never safe.
You got to press pause or like do something. But yeah. Oh.
Sit your butt in the chair. But yeah, it did take an insanely long time to get to the outcome that we all assumed was going to happen, especially when Seth Rollins came down to the ring, because for whatever reason, this whole program with Seth Rollins and the Mysterio family continues to drag on. I'm not sure what the end game is at this point. What more can Seth Rollins do to the Mysterio family? You'd think he would want to move on. And not only that, I mentioned the fact that there's a need for a continuity director.
Yes.
Can somebody tell me why Seth Rollins, of all people, would help Baron Corbin win a match tonight?
I don't know.
Do we forget all of last summer? Do we forget the 3-month-long feud that these two had over the WWE Championship that culminated in King Corbin giving an end of days to the man's baby mama? Like, what are we doing? If somebody did that to my wife, I ain't helping them do crap the next year. I ain't helping them doing crap for 10 years. That man is dead to me. I know you got beef with the Mysterios, but why are you helping King Corbin? It makes no sense. Continuity director. I will apply right now.
And that's like, okay, you're talking more like long term, talking like a big span of things, but I'm talking at least on the same show. Okay. There's got to be continuity at least on the same show. All right. Cause I can see, okay, maybe people would forget the whole thing with Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin. All right. I can live with that, but I cannot live with there not being continuity on the same exact show. And by this, I mean that Rey Mysterio comes like backstage is telling Dominic that, he's freaking out. I haven't seen Aaliyah. Have you seen her? I haven't seen her. And I'm like, dude, have you not seen her in a week and you're barely freaking out? Like, bro, like you should have been calling the cops already. You should have, I don't know, you should have done something, all right? Isn't it 48 hours is a missing person? All right, 48 hours. This is a man. She could be off with the man.
But she's an adult. You can't control her.
No, but still, even if somebody's an adult, if you're worried about them, you can file like a missing persons report, right? Okay,
Sure,
I'm just saying, the guy, she could be off with like Seth Rollins or something. You don't know what's happening. You could think the worst. And this is a guy that tried taking out your eyeball, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So you should be worried. She's off with, and people can say an older man. So anyways, but after that, during the match when she comes out, he just tells her like, leave, get out. And I'm like, dude, you haven't seen her who knows how long, and you're telling her to get out. And then afterwards, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, let me just real quick, because I noticed that mistake too, and I think Ray screwed up, because after he said that, he followed up with "get Murphy out of here." So I think he was trying to say,
no.
I like get him out of here is what I think Ray was trying to say.
It doesn't matter. Rick, you're a dad. Your kid's gone for a week. You haven't seen them. When they come out, are you going to be like, get out of here? No, you'll be like, where the hell were you at?
Oh, yeah, because my
about it.
My main focus at that time is definitely going to be on qualifying for a match that has no stakes whatsoever.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Especially if I'm Rey Mysterio and I'm 45 in the twilight of my career. Yeah, I'm really going to be worried about qualifying for some frickin' Survivor Series match.
That's what I'm saying. And then afterwards, also, then they're all happy afterwards. They're all watching together. They're all watching this match backstage.
Okay.
What happened? 1 second she's missing. The next get out. The third, they're a happy family.
Obviously, there's still some issues there. I don't think they looked happy, but yeah, first off, I hate the whole, we're just going to stand backstage and watch this television because we have nothing better to do. I hate that screenshot. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it makes sense. But look, if I haven't seen my daughter for a week, well, first off, she's 2. So I'm going to be calling everybody.
But think about it. 19 years old. Think about it.
I'm going to be having an argument. Like, I ain't going to be standing there letting you watch your boyfriend or whatever this next match that's going on. I mean, it was Seth Rollins and Otis tonight, right? That was the other qualifier. Murphy wasn't even supposed to be involved with this match, so why are they watching in the first place? I know Ray's trying to keep an eye on Seth Rollins, but I don't give a crap about Seth Rollins at this point.
Right.
I'm having an argument with my daughter. Like, we're going to talk.
Rick, when you were 19, did your parents still have you on check?
19?
Yes, I know it's a legal age, but they still had you on check, right?
Oh God, yeah. When I finally moved out of my house at like 22, I swear I got 10 text messages a day for 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. I remember being 19, being out at 2 a.m. and boy, my grandma was pissed. Did I hear it when I got home? I got yelled at. And you can't pull the I'm over 18 now line. No, it's not realistic.
No, not nothing whatsoever. So continuing the theme of continuity. So Murphy gets involved in this match now, the other qualifier that happened later on between Seth Rollins and Otis, which first off, that was the best Otis has looked in the ring ever. That was his best match to this point as far as singles competition. I genuinely enjoyed it. He looked really good. I think Seth Rollins can wrestle with anybody, obviously, but I think a lot of this was Otis putting on a tremendous performance tonight, but his downward spiral continues, and they didn't capitalize whatsoever on the Tucker turn, the split that happened at whatever pay-per-view that we just had, Hell in a Cell. And they didn't do it on Raw either. Tucker was there for about 45 seconds with generic ring gear and no shirt, looking like some NXT call-up. Didn't even realize it was him. He loses in 10 seconds and then gets a beatdown from Retribution. So it looks like they're just cutting this. They just said, screw it, we're done with this. So now Otis, hard-working man, new ring music, is on his own with none of the things that he has used to his advantage to move forward in the company. He's got no Mandy Rose. He's got no Tucker. He's got no Money in the Bank briefcase. The man's now starting.
It's gone.
Yeah, he's got nothing. He's got nothing. He's got no Peach. He's got no Lunchbox. He's got no tag partner. He's got nothing. And now he's getting screwed out of matches by Murphy, who's supposed to be feuding with Seth Rollins. And now all of a sudden he's the disciple again, but maybe not, because Aaliyah after the matchup where Murphy cost Otis the match. She approaches Murphy in the back. She's all ticked off. Murphy's saying, trust me, I got a plan. I don't know what the plan is. This whole thing is very, very confusing. I'm ready for it to be over. Please tell me there's going to be a blow off at Survivor Series. Just end it now, please. Just end it.
I don't think so. I think we're going to be seeing this all throughout the rest of the year. I mean, that Lana Bobby Lashley thing lasted like a century, and that had less drama than this.
Bobby Lashley and Lana, that was like 10 years ago. Why are you bringing up old stuff?
Because I covered that every week for months, Rick. It'll stay with me till the end of time. I'm going to be 100 years old and I'm still going to be talking about Bobby Lashley and Lana.
Right. But there was a reason why that program drug on so long. It was because there was contract negotiations going on with Rusev backstage. They're trying to get him to sign a new deal. They're kicking the can down the road. He's not beating Bobby Lashley in any of these matches. And then he ends up getting, released later on. So there was at least some backstage politics that played into that feud going on. This Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins storyline has been going on since what, May?
I don't know.
April, May? I can't even keep track. It feels longer than the freaking pandemic at this point. Way longer than the election. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this should have been over. The whole thing with the Mysterios should have been over after Eye for Eye. And we're still going. Like, how many times can I say this tonight? What more can Seth Rollins do to the Mysterios? It makes no sense.
I don't know. I mean, I would draw the line at someone trying to take my eyeball out.
Yeah, and it's like, I still think eventually we're going to get to a big blow off between Murphy and Rollins, and Murphy's going to be the one that, that writes Rollins off of television whenever he goes on paternity leave, which is coming up sooner rather than later, probably a month or so. So yeah, this is probably going to go toward the end of the year before Seth Rollins takes some time off.
Right.
So, okay.
They're waiting. They're like, we don't know when, Becky's going to, have her baby.
Totally fair. They're very unpredictable. Trust me. Very unpredictable. I'm in the same boat right now. I could leave in the middle of the show. Who knows? No.
Hey, I don't got notes to continue this. I'm counting on you, Rick.
I need you to jump in the Captain Kirk swivel chair here because I got to run.
You need to carry the show, all right?
But yeah, so I ultimately think that's where we're going. But man, I'm ready for the Mysterios to kind of branch off and do their own thing. But with Aaliyah now and the whole Murphy thing, it's all tied together in one big story. And I think
they're just getting
it's not a terrible story in and of itself, like we explained last week, but it's just been stretched for so long now. And I think people just have this fatigue when it comes to, Murphy and Rollins and Mysterio. And we're ready to see these guys, fight other people. We're just ready to see these guys fight other people. And it's just
either
annoying.
that or make something really big happen within the storyline. Make the storyline progress faster.
Problem is, if you're trying to stretch something out till Rollins takes time off, how can you move it along any faster than what they're doing right now?
I don't know.
You need a new angle. You need a new. I don't want to say overbook. You don't need to overbook this any more than it already has, but. I don't know. Carissa brings up a interesting point. What if Aleister Black qualifies next week and something ends up happening between him and Kevin Owens? First off, let's just start by getting Aleister Black on the show.
Yeah, I forgot about him, to be honest. I didn't remember until Carissa brought him up.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Let's start with getting Aleister on the show first, because he hasn't been there since he's been drafted. In fact, tonight was the first night that we saw Big E on the show since he's been drafted. So at least that was a start. Poor Big E playing board games with some random girl backstage because his buddies are on the other show all by himself. That's what they need to be playing in the background. That was
my childhood as a lonely child.
Anyway, let's that would be my qualifying match next week. Would be Big E versus Aleister Black. Give me that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Give me something.
And Aleister Black, if anything, would have more stakes because he's like, this means something. He could be something like, I just want to be seen,
Right. And I wouldn't be mad if Aleister Black won that because it would just add more intrigue to the Survivor Series team, which is looking really, really bad for Kevin Owens. Because if you look at this team, you got KO and then you got Jey Uso. So obviously there's some bad blood brewing there. Then you got King Corbin, who doesn't get along with anybody. And now you got Seth Rollins on the team. And we know Seth Rollins and KO don't like each other.
Right.
That's not looking like it's going to be a good night for KO. I think his Survivor Series streak of not having good matches is going to go pretty poorly for him at Survivor Series. So yeah, why not add Aleister Black right into the mix?
Go for it. Go for it.
let's just start by getting him on the show first. Can we do that?
Yeah.
By the way, the joke I made last week, I kept my notes saying that the team that I wanted to see, right, the last 3 competitors, I said I wanted to see Big E, Seth Rollins, and Aleister Black. And my computer is making random noises. Thank you, random updates. And then I made that joke that I thought we would end up with Lars Sullivan, King Corbin, and Otis. How close did I almost get tonight to adding Otis and King Corbin?
No.
Which makes me think that next week we're gonna get that final qualifier.
Rick, what did we do to deserve this? Are we being punished? Are we being punished
You know
with the Lars Sullivan storyline?
You know Lars Sullivan is qualifying for Survivor Series next week. He's going to go up against, Kalisto or somebody like that, and he's just going to drill them straight into the mat, and it's going to be over.
I feel like we're being punished.
Okay.
This is what this Lars Sullivan story thing feels like for me. I feel we're being punished.
Can I just say I apologize for making fun of the Smedium Polo last week? Can we get the Smedium Polo back?
Bully. You're a bully, Rick.
Can we get the Smedium Polo back? Because dude bro just sitting there shirtless and flexing his pecs don't help him much. It's not a good look.
It was weird too because the camera was like, I think it was just like up to here. So then I was like, why is he not wearing a shirt for an interview? It didn't make any sense. It was really weird.
I think he was trying to send some kind of a message to Michael Cole, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what message.
I don't know. What kind of a message do you send by showing up to an interview shirtless? At least Seth Rollins has the good decency to put on a jacket when he's not wearing a shirt, for crying out loud. So you have that awkwardness. And then you add the heavy breathing into it as well. And then you
big roar at the end.
The bully storyline, adding 50 pounds of muscle in 18 months just so he can kick the crap out of everybody. And then, oh my God, just I made him eat bugs and grass.
Nobody
and
does
grass
that. People bully in a different way.
And dirt. It's like,
this ain't the Diary of a Wimpy Kid where you have to eat the rotten cheese.
Who's writing this stuff? Because like
somebody that's never been bullied
about
before.
Real life experiences like that stuff doesn't, it didn't happen to me. I just got beat up a lot. Like, to be completely honest, like there wasn't any of this.
I was bullied too, but nobody made me eat bugs. And I think, I don't even know what I think anymore.
If somebody made me eat bugs, I would probably be in a mental institution right now, because that would be life-altering scarredness right there. Kind of like the same scarred for life that I'm getting by seeing Lars Sullivan shirtless in an interview, just flexing his pecs for 30 seconds. That interview felt like it lasted longer than the entire show. It was... It's not.
But it hurt my soul. It hurt my soul.
I try to focus on the positives. That was not good. The stuff they're doing with Lars Sullivan is not good.
I don't think I've ever felt so negatively towards something that I've been seeing on a wrestling show than I do with this Lars Sullivan thing. This one does it for me. It does it in the way that it doesn't do it for me badly.
We get Lars Sullivan every week, and we got no Sami Zayn tonight. We haven't seen Aleister Black. We've barely seen Big E. Like, I know it's only a 2-hour show and you can't get everybody on. I would be perfectly fine if
and what the heck even happened? Oh, I don't even know.
You know what I would do with Lars Sullivan? Here's my big idea for Lars Sullivan. Are you ready? I think this would work perfectly.
What is it?
I would pair him with the Forgotten Sons.
Man.
I would pair him with the Forgotten Sons, and they can keep doing exactly what they've been doing for the last few weeks. Staying off my TV screen. I think that is a perfect place for Lars Sullivan.
But wasn't even all of them, though, that had the negative press on that, you know?
I know. I'm just saying, they can hang out in catering. You just put a camera on them and make them think they're on the show. They can do whatever they want. Just say you got free creative reign, and we don't ever have to hear from them again. We'll just put them in a room somewhere in the Amway Center. Somebody will find them 6 months from now when WWE's back on the road again.
How dare you, Rick? You know, I think the Freak can be a great star. I think he has 6-star match potential. WrestleMania main eventer. Yeah, the 6-star. I'm already confused right now. Yeah, he can be. You know, he can get 6 stars, 5 stars. I don't care. All right, he's got the potential. Just kidding. That's sarcasm.
Rob Ross wants to know what they're going to do with Lars Sullivan. I don't know. They're building him up for something, right? This has all the makes of that. I don't know, the slope. It's like they don't have the enhancement talent for him to beat up every week like they did with Braun Strowman. It's the same formula they do with all of these big guys. They bring him in, they have him beat up smaller dudes, which is why you have Lars Sullivan coming out and taking out the Jeff Hardys and the Kalistos and the Lucha House Parties. Remember that was his big burst on the feud scene before he got hurt, was he was taking on Lucha House Party in 3-on-1 matches and kicking the crap out of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is eventually going to lead to, but all I know is like whenever he does finally get up to the big boys, like it's not like I'm going to be sitting here salivating going, oh man, I can't wait to see Braun Strowman and Lars Sullivan hook up.
No.
Oh man, I can't wait for Big E and Lars Sullivan. I can't wait for pick somebody, Sheamus and Lars. No, I don't care. I'm sorry, man. Maybe he'll be able to change my mind over the course of time.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening
right now.
I don't see it happening either. I'm trying to scroll through some of the comments, guys. I know there was a few that no, hang on. Sorry. I'm trying to find any more of those comments. I know there was a few that I wish you could mark them in this system. So
this system's a little complicated when it comes to comments. I've had that issue when I work the stream. I'll press on the wrong comment.
It jumps at the last second and you put something up there you didn't mean to put up there.
Yeah, exactly. They need to fix that.
I had a lot of comments about Aaliyah's attire tonight. I knew you were a big fan.
Yes. Girls got style, please. I will talk about Aaliyah's fashion sense every single week. I love the way she dresses. From the first moment I saw her on screen, I was like, this girl knows what's up.
There's a time and a place for it. Maybe if you're going to run down to the ring, you don't wear that dress that you got on tonight.
Oh, Rick, please. Don't be one of those guys, all right? I saw a few of those on my Twitter feed, and I was like, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here, all right? When it comes to women, they can wear whatever the hell they want. If they're jumping up and down, if they're swimming, if you want to go into the pool with a wedding dress, I don't care.
What I'm saying is
she looks great, Rick.
I'm not that guy. She did look great. I'm not that guy. I'm not saying she shouldn't be wearing this, that, or the other thing. I'm just saying if I were her, I would have picked a smarter attire. It's like Jurassic World, right? Where Dallas Bryce Howard is running through the entire movie in high heels. It doesn't make sense. You're running from a T-Rex in high heels. It doesn't make sense.
Rick, I'm about to end your argument right now, okay? I'm about to end your argument. Okay, you're married. I'm sure you were with other women before, right? Right? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, I was lucky. Yeah.
Okay. You're telling me you've never once been with a woman that didn't wear a sweater when it was super cold because it didn't go with her outfit, or you knew for a fact that you guys were going to go to a place where you're going to do a lot of walking and she wore the wrong shoes. All right. It's a thing. All right. We don't care about the situation. We care about what we look like. All right. So that's it. Argument done.
I'm trying to think of the last time that I was with a woman that had that mindset, because I've been with my wife for so long who isn't like that. She's very, when it comes to clothes, it's jeans, a sweater, shirt, whatever. She always dresses for the appropriate occasion, never wears high heels. Fashion is not her thing. She always looks great and I love her, and she's beautiful no matter what she has on.
Right.
But yeah, I've been with her so long, I honestly forget what that experience is like.
She's like, you better not remember your ex-girlfriends and what those experiences were like. That's what I would do.
No, I don't. And you know what? And I don't need to bring up my ex-girlfriends for the second time in 2 weeks. What are we doing here, Denise? This is your life. All right. We don't need that.
You're going to be marriage counseling in a couple of years and be like, well, it all started when I had Denise Salcedo on Smack Talk and she made me bring up my ex-girlfriends 2 weeks in a row.
I just hope my exes don't watch this show. That's all I got to hope on.
I'm sure you're fine.
They don't like wrestling. They don't like wrestling.
I was going to say, what's the odds of them watching wrestling? Come on. Let's be real.
I'm not even friends on Facebook with many of them, so they probably don't even know I have this. So that works out fine with me. Guys, I know there was a lot of other comments in here. I know I got to do better of getting to them. I appreciate everybody who has made a comment. I know there were, speaking of attire, I know there was another question about Carmella's attire. There were some questions about Carmella's attire. Some of them, I saw somebody on Twitter today say she looked like a bootleg Lana or a basic Lana with her attire tonight. I just looked at those boots and went, that can't be comfortable to wear. That does not look comfortable.
Rick, you're not a lady. That's why I just put, did you see my comment? I just put like, Rick, my friend, ...
I responded. I just call it like I see it. You know, I saw her come out and hit that super kick. I'm like, that did not look
You know
comfortable.
what?
That
Let's
did
leave
not
the
look
rule here
comfortable.
on Smack Talk, Rick. Leave the fashion to me, please. That's it. Leave the
Fair
fashion
enough.
to me.
Fair enough. We will. Hey, but you know what? Carmelo looked great. It was nice to see her back on the screen. We'll see what happens next week. We're going to have some more qualifiers next week, obviously. At least I believe so, with everything coming down the pike. Hopefully, we get a lot less Lars Sullivan. Hopefully, a lot more Big E and a lot more Sami Zayn. Heck, any Sami Zayn would be better than the amount of Sami Zayn that we got tonight. Denise?
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been a long week for both of us. Go get some rest. I need to go get a shower because I have reeked of beer since the start of the show because I got it all down the collar and my shirt and whatnot. And I'll take one more chug to end the show. Yes. Good times. Good times. Denise, it's been fun. We'll talk again next week. Appreciate all you guys out there. This is Smack Talk on Sportskeeda, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Have a good night, everybody.